What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, a couple of months since I picked up a camera or anything to film for YouTube. I haven't updated you guys on this tank for about 2 months now. This is my Red Sea Reefer 350. The last time you saw this tank, I picked up a bunch of fish, or bought a bunch of fish from a friend that's going through a divorce. The old owner of this tank, him and his wife, they're going through a divorce, and his wife sold me a whole bunch of the fish because she was tearing down his tank because of dumb stuff. But I picked up a whole bunch of fish from her. I bought it from her and I put them in the tank, and that was the last update. It was kind of like the height of this tank build, with all of the coral growing and doing well. I added a bunch of fish and it was all vibrant with color and movement and everything. I was very happy with the build. But within 2 weeks of posting that video, I got hit really hard with this tank crashing. Started heating up in March, middle of March. One of the weeks it was like we were having a heat wave, and I went to sleep. I came down. Next morning, my entire tank was off. It was just dead silent, off. My circuit breaker for this side of the room tripped, and my entire tank was off. I don't know for how long, but it was long enough to kill a lot of my fish that I had in the tank. So the only survivors that survived was the big blue tang right here. We added her. Yellow tang survived. My 2 snowflake clownfish survived, and pretty much everyone else passed away. They died because there was not any oxygen in the water, I guess. It was very hot that night. I remember my tank was up to like 80 degrees. I remember going up around 7 o'clock and then come back down until 7 a.m. the next morning. Now, my tank is just a pretty simple tank. I don't have an apex system or anything like that with alarms that would kind of text me or alert me that the power is off. It's just all of my power is just connected to the 2 smart power strips, and I can control it through my phone and everything. But with the power strips connected to the circuit breaker or whatever, once that went out, like my entire everything went out. So I had no idea that my tank was off until the next very morning when I came out. Everyone was just like on the bottom floor. A lot of them were gasping. My snowflake clownfish, they were up top right here. They're just gasping. I turned on the tank again, and then all of those guys were just starting to come back to life. But yeah, I lost a bunch of fish. Most of the new wrasse and tangs that I added were all wiped out, and what sucks is the 2 saddleback clownfish, they were gone too. It kind of just devastated me that I lost so many fish that night, that I thought about just breaking down the tank and then not having to kind of worry about the livestock in this Red Sea Reefer 350 anymore. Because once you establish this whole ecosystem right here, all of their lives, the anemones, this anemone, the mushrooms, the GSP fish, everything in here depends on you to kind of survive. It's basically like on life support. If the power goes off or anything fails within this tank, that's pretty much it. Like, you're gonna just kind of have to take the risk of losing the livestock. And stepping back, the tank is so lively and vibrant and everything. It's just a very fragile thing. So I thought about breaking it down and just not having to worry about this anymore. But I think I'm gonna give it another shot and kind of stick with it. So to prevent the power from going out again and killing my entire tank, I'm looking for an Ecotech MP wave maker. The only reason I'm looking for that wave maker is for the battery backup. If the power does go off again, the battery backup would kick on, and then at least the wave maker would continue circulating the water, so the fish would still have oxygen to survive. But yeah, that was a bad mistake on my end. I didn't think about, well, I knew there was chances of the power going out, but I didn't know that it would wipe out the entire tank within a couple of hours or overnight, you know. So that really sucks and got me in depression and everything. But once all the fish died and passed away, the tank just looked really empty and depressing when I'm looking at it. So I went out to Ellis Aquatics out in Compton, and I picked up a couple of these tangs right here. One is a brown powder tang, a naso tang, a sailfin tang right here. Threw them all in at the same time, and for the most part it looks like they're getting along perfectly fine. But that's it for me. I don't want to buy any more livestock or corals or anything like that from this point on. I think I'm just gonna try to maintain everything in the tank. Stepping back, the tank still looks good. When the power went out, it did not really affect the anemones or the corals at all. They were all drooping and everything, but once I turned on the power again, everyone's just back to thriving. The bottom right here, the GSP, it's starting to look like what I envisioned it. When I started this tank, I wanted the rock work in back and up front to have GSP on the bare bottom to look like it's kind of floating on a bed of grass. GSP is filling in and it's coming up the glass right here. I'm just gonna let it grow up, and then when it gets big, long enough, it's long enough now, but I want it to get longer so I can just kind of cut out strips and sell the frags locally here or trade it into the local fish store. So all of the corals look fine, but if you look closely right here, a lot of my zoas are gone. I believe Dory, the big one right here that we added in March, she started eating the pallies and the zoas. So the zoas and pallies, they were growing on the bare bottom, and right here we had a whole huge patch, and I had frag plugs kind of glued down to the rocks and everything. And I would wake up and find the plugs ripped off the rock and flipped over, and bits of the pally's missing, so I suspect she's eating it or nibbling at it or just destroying stuff for fun. I have no idea, but I originally had a bunch of frags up here on the rock, and they were expensive, different strains. And since she started doing those crazy things, I kind of took them all and placed them into the Lagoon 25 to kind of grow them out. So in here we only have the Pandoras, which grew very fast throughout the rock work. So this guy eating it, I don't really mind, because this pally was like growing like weeds. Now, right now I have the blue lights on, and I'm on a gel filter, Aquari Clip orange filter, so you guys can see the colors better. But the anemones would expand and kind of walk all over the top right here, and they would sting these sticks, bird's nest, I forgot what that's called. Brain fart. It would sting all the coral, so as a temporary solution, I got some PVC connectors with a strainer. I cut the strainer and I just placed them on top, like right here, here, and here, just to raise it up, so when the anemones are puffing up, they're less likely to touch and sting them. So this tank, I just started adding a bunch of mushrooms, Rhodactis mushrooms. You wouldn't believe that I got one of these for free from Aqua SD, and now I have them all over the place. This red Rhodactis mushroom right here. But I have green, I have these Supermans right here, and then some forest fires down there on the very bottom. Everyone's just doing really good and leaving the tank as is. I picked up this tube anemone, and I found out that it needs sand and rock to kind of anchor its body, but I don't have sand in my aquarium, so I placed sand into one of the air cups right here, and I put his body in there. This guy is like super bright at night, and I think when lights go off, his tentacles get like double the size. It would like reach way up here, and I'm concerned that it will go up into the wave maker, things like that. Yeah, stepping back so you guys can see the tank again. It's doing fine. Planning to do more content for you guys and updates as I work around my new schedule and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much all of the updates on the Red Sea Reefer 350. Let me know what you guys think about the tank and my solution for power outages for the future and all of that. It's a hard lesson to learn. If you guys are starting up tanks, or if you have existing tanks, I think backup battery or some kind of backup power is kind of necessary, and you should have it in your build plans and everything, because that was a hard blow for me to lose that much livestock. Just thinking about it right now just has me like all sad and depressed, man. Well, anyways, I hope you guys are all doing well, and be sure to come back and check for more content. I'll be trying to update you guys weekly again. So I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.